92.9 onsa ebekan ye ewo hormona fe bibia pesa o kan bia no betumi ede atodwa enenom ye bedi nkomo yie pa akọ mining issues ni mu ye sane se president on Friday no ehia ye mpanyifo from CSOs ni nyina no enomo edi nkomo. We're going to look at it deeply and then find out whether they are now happy, settled to the extent that the fight on Galamsey no bibia kono omani so, and also said there's more for the government to do, and now so say onwankasa mu no de say omoye mamenko na mene Abrante Bakon, no Ebabedin Komosia, make executive director, the environment report, Ura Awudu Salami, Suleimana Yoda, no ND and Komosia. And for what really transpired Friday, no regards to the CEO's encounter with the president on illegal mining we're going on Zoom to talk to Ura Yoda on this particular matter. Now you know your studio nearby be doing effectively on all these matters and all that. Yoda me watching Emma Wakwa by Kessben Maakye, so be able to hello, say you that on Zoom. Me watching Eba Kessben Maakye, so be able to.
Oh, Mr. Preko.
Oh, okay, nice. Me say me tell one here. Me jiri say be able to.
Boko na onso e.
Erade adom kakra egusu a den say me hu, but me hu pa. Matias, Matekasa. Now let's look at this. Friday, Omanpenyini Asia, civil societies, regards to Galamsey and matters arising from there. Mijidi say now se uni hosena se uti what really transpired. What's your overview first off? Now fiembra details as to how question and answers and also Koye and other matters that were raised, especially from the presentation that was done by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resource. But your clear overview of what really transpired. Net was saying. Hello, you're the automaker.
Hello.
Aha, automaker is here.
Also automaker.
I say I'm a pa.
Okay. See, the mechanic say. You know, you Senegal, I'm saying, and some no etia Ghana. Now, some of us were surprised. Say, Penny Don Ramani Mahama, Etunsa, Efre, CSO, say, Omumbra, na Bachelor Madrin, na ye na into two adrian how we can all help to keep this menace called Galamsey. And see, no quarantine say, CSOs were very happy with that call or that invitation na Mampeni Edema Yeno. And me general you say that meeting was very good, and that meeting so no Eddie enema be brave by me gidi say you now follow those roadmap na ebeboa ama Galamsey yetimi ato ase Ghana.
Yoda, the revelations that came out there, the presentation that was done by the minister, I mean, there were too many issues that were, out there. Now, what the updates are. One of them has to do with the reforms of the mining sector. No? And then the minister has said that 90% is complete. It means that almost just 10% is left for us to see what is really happening. Then the minister went further to say over 250 mining licenses will be revoked. I mean, after ongoing review and all that. I mean, clearly with the security, clearly with Enyema making, clearly with excavators, clearly with NIMOs, do you think that the fight now a corner to see illegal mining, I mean, end in this country, abino abon homodin so far now?
Okay, two things. So, Minister of Lands, Jumadi Amudi to fight illegal mining now. Like I say, at the papa. But then, the other side, and so I say, some people too have been allowed to also do the thing at the blind side of the government. Yɛhwɛ yɛnsuo ɛne yɛ forester. These two key things ɛna mi ehu sɛ galamsey na yɛ fight no, are we doing it well or we are not doing it well? Sɛ yɛhwɛ nsuo a ɛwɔ Ghana ha, mɛka sɛ dodoɔ naa asɛe. You see, and this is a clear indication say as a kuna yɛkɔ no ɛnhyɛ da ɛnsɔ ani saa. Forest deɛ mɛtumi aka sɛ forest no most ayi a yɛayɛ kyerɛ sɛ forest no deɛ asɛ ɛyɛ ane sa. Ɛyɛ last year ɛyɛ this year mekɔ forest bi ɛwɔ Dweraban so ɛyɛ Draw River forest. Mekɔ ɛyɛ no nokware ni na galamsey fo mu nyinaa yɛyɛ mu nyinaa firi hɔ. You see, but then sɛ wohwɛ nsuo no nso a obi bɛsɛ fɛnsɛn according to the water commission no nsuo no ɛyɛ ne fi no ɛɛba fam deɛ, but then wohwɛ deɛ yɛhu no a asɛ there is still more to do in terms of fighting it, but then nokware ne sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ yɛbɔ aban aba so because aban wei aso commitment sɛ ɔbɛfight galamsey and ɛnyɛ commitment kɛkɛ ɛyɛ also working because yɛhwɛ sojafoɔ no ɔmo excavators ɛyɛ prosecution ɛne ɛho ayi na ɔmo yɛ na clearly you could see that this government is doing well, but we still think that there is more to do in terms of fighting this illegal mining.
When you say there's more to do, emu diahi now for say abino should be encouraging, should be doing more with speed to see say success will come.
Okay, last week there was this argument of whether we should declare state of emergency or we should declare those areas as security zones. And see, I will go for the security zone for now. Say, baby, I used to one any your forest in one that place should be declared as security zones. And so, untimi enko mining. And here one, and a two, your friend is saying, Omwa konsa entoka we no. Ye hwe say ye be party in sembe film because say party in sembe no mu na aya eno ne ma ne kono den because we me party ni ye illegal mining minim pass we illegal mining, but then once we me party ni ntino mintimi nye den enka ntino. If we can take these things offer ebeboa ana biemu so no LI 2462 na ọma hyɛbɔ sɛ ɔmo bɛyɛ firi hɔ no yɛbɔ mpa yɛ sɛ sɛnea mirisa ne kan no ɛyɛ sɛ parliament ɛresume this month a ɔmo bɛhwɛ sɛ ɔmo bɛlay that new airline no to repeal LI 2462 because ha LI 2462 no ɛyɛ mmara a abandada no ɛde bɛto hɔ a ɛma akwan ɛtumi ma obiara wura forest nim na ɔkɔ sɛ forest no for any purpose bi a ɔmo pɛ biara including mining. Well, ana ina nim se forest so de ene ne ɔman no yɛ oxygen ɛno na ɛma yɛ friend saying ɛna me home papa enti so ka se wo say forest ya na je se uku ewiase no enti no se aban we se na waka no so obetimi repeal LI 2462 na ɛno so be ma emra no ebeta akire se untumi enko ye mining wo forest enti these three things me feel say aban no etimi epush no more a yebetimi atu illegal miners ana biemu so no equipment ya friend saying omo a task force na abanate no ade bia enima bia omehia bia no e wo say aban no etimi de kɔ wano na omo nso entimi enfandi jumapa ema omagana.
Ansana Bekokra no president Ekan Sembi said we should bring in new technology to help solve these illegal mining again, do you think that but we have not thought of bringing in new technology to really help fight this particular fight now?
Well, new technology seven say so Bekaya let me say last year or so. So last 2 years so abandada na ka se omo kopɛ efense drones biaba na the drones no abɛhwɛ se drones no ebe here be illegal mining no na task force no akwa stop it ye be san kai a eye abanada na asan de ba se ye the tracker bi e ba be bobo excavators ni na ho enti no se excavator no e movie a ye ni bebi a okọ aba me so buy no so on the same thing on say we need to get the trackers on the excavator. These are all things that are technology, but then how effective will it be if there is no political will, if there is no commitment to fight it? Because over to me the drone no akɔhwɛ na so the drone kɔhwɛ wie a na ayɛ deɛ nipa na ɛwɔ se ɔkɔ fight no sɛ saa nipa ko no sɛ ɔnyɛ well armed anaasɛ sɛ wanka sɛ ɔnkɔ a sɛ ɔne onim baabi a sɛ onim deɛ ɛkɔ so ana sɛ ɔka sɛ wode tracker ɛbɔ excavator ho a yate wode bɔ ho a ɛkɔɔyɛ no a wohu sɛ ɛyɛ legal mining no hwan na kɔdi akyire kɔhwɛ sɛ yɛkɔ stop saa illegal mining no anaasɛ excavator no enti ne nyinaa boils down to the political will of the government. See, say the drones no be adwuma mpa na ye the tracker no be adwuma mpa okay say yehu say ekoso a hwan na ebekwa kodi akire say ana say ebekọ mpo a yebekọ se yekogi sika na say yebekọ se yeko stop no because Preko me have been at mining site be breakwa I've been in documentaries me call forest bi ewo Jacobu side ho your friend Apapama forest me call forest no me call so say illegal miners ye omadwuma na task force for be eba sa forest ho this was last year omoba forest ho no boys na mining in a small place no omo na task force no edi tuo HSC won just behind them na excavator dig just behind sankofo no almost illegal mining bi o ana me bisa leader na say but leader these people are also digging. In fact the boys were using pickers and shovel but these other people no almost use excavator and a D2 and I'm saying now the monko ho asema ka me say hono off reserve na sika off reserve wa say hono enka forest reserve no ho meanwhile how many boys in the baby boys need to know how many now with the same lane intelligent na uchesi we na ujai we.
Very interesting.
Yes, so you see that is the situation. If there will be the political will,
okay.
If say be jai oje na adwuma no ya ni ya Mr. Preko, we can find this thing within the shortest possible time.
Okay.
But okay. The political will to do this thing.
All right. Yoda, you better say repayment your friend na fi edin komo ye pa.
All
right. Yeah, the executive director, Emma Environment Report, Awudu Salami Sulemana Yoda. And you know, Edin come on Zoom right now. Check how far with ASCO in the meetings in the 55 minutes past the hour of 7. My main question so now mene Professor Eric Abavari or UTAC president KNUST. Na no ND and Komosisia Emfa also views and all that. But it's interesting. There was a post done by a prof himself on Facebook in his social media handle. This is what he said before I even introduce him on it. Say, dear Ghanaian, ignore the antics and use your head. 1. Do you need an expert to repeal the LI 2462 from Parliament? 2. Do you need an expert to order a stop of the importation and manufacturing of champagnes? 3. Do you need an expert to prevent entry of mercury and other chemicals through our borders into Ghana? 4. Do you need an expert to tell you to stop importation of excavators? 5. How many excavators are in circulation in Ghana and how many have been impounded? And how many do we need for our constructional purposes? Did you listen to the president when he started? Ghana used to export 80k of gold, but now we are making 135k, and so we should give a human face to Galamsey's. 6. Did you listen to the president that Galamsey offers 4.5 million jobs to Ghanaians? Please, Guess what? Invitation of CSOs are nothing but time-buying antics. Don't be deceived. Ghanaian, nothing will be done and nothing will happen. Mark my words. The CSO asked the president since assumption of office what the turbidity level, my spirits, and Major Maxwell, okay, I think maybe it was something one shouldn't show near, but talking about Major Maxwell Mahama and its officials never rest. Kwame Ghana, the year. This is coming from Prof. Eric Abavari, UTAC president, KNUST. Prof, good morning. Bibi Abokode.
Good morning.
Nice. Yeah, the radio say yensa can wo. But now let's tackle your 6 questions that you've raised. And I think that these are critical questions that you've raised that we need to really, look into it and all that. Now, if you're asking Ghanaians, say, do we need an expert to repeal the LI 246 from Parliament? What do you mean? Don't we still need Parliament to do that? Isn't a process that we need to go through? Therefore, asking that particular question will be null and void.
Thank you very much, and you're listening. That particular question, we must also ask the question, how long an effort was placed by the old administration that they wanted to repeal it, and that this government decided that they will also repeal it. It's been 10 months now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And so if it's taking 10 months to repeal and it's not even done, and you ask me for a meeting, here I mean the CSOs, what are we going to discuss? Are we to discuss how it should be repealed or how? It is the work of the Parliament. And if the Parliament is not doing it, who do you really need an expert to go and tell Parliament how they should do it? It is funny. So that was the basis for that question.
Let's hold on to there. Are we saying, sir, it is not in the process? It has not started at all. Do you have any further and better particulars about it in Parliament regards to that particular law in itself?
Okay, let me. I'm not an expert at law, but when this issue of repeal came, one young man, a lawyer, stated that there were 2 processes that needed, if they want to repeal it, actually, they needed 2 processes. One of them they could use. One, the long process, and 2, the short process. The long process is what we are experiencing right now. But for the short process, he said the sector ministry whose ambit that law was made, that sector ministry or agency just will have to just write a letter and say to Parliament that this particular LI, they don't need it. They will paste it at the Parliament there and gazette it, and it is done. Do we need anybody to do this simple thing? If you really want to do it, why do we have to go the long way when there's a simple way? If it is a commitment doing that. So that is the basis. It means that we are not willing to do it. And if they have started, how long will it take for them to finish it?
Maybe they want to go through the processes when laws are enacted, the laws are repealed. You need to go through all the committees level, come back to a friend is saying the floor of Parliament, go back again and all that. I mean, these are processes are sebi SSA nipa Parliament femo na omutumi ma eye emre sa no ekoye unyi this is it not just that
we have the long process. Mm-hmm. If we end in repealing it, and and also ever ending in repealing it. The ultimate way to say you are repealing at the end, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Said there are several ways of killing the cat, and the ultimate aim is to kill the cat. And if the nation Ghana is really committed that they really want to fight it, as the president promised during the campaign, so in 3 months, if anybody want to solve it in 3 months, they will do it. They will do it. Then the shortcut was the easier one. Just write a letter, send to the parliament for them to say that we don't want this, and it is gazetted. When that step is taken, it is done. You don't need any meeting, you don't need committee, you don't need anything. That kills it. The one you also recounted, go through committee, come back, do the audit. The ultimate that it will still kill it. So why waste the time? When your people are dying, when your people are drinking poisonous water, Konyakun Dam has fallen. I'm told Barekesi is also falling. And then, very soon, all the waterways are going to fall. So do we have to go the long way? Were you not even here when during COVID time and the president had to call state of state of emergency or whatever for the lockdown? What did he do? Because he saw the need and the urgency of it, he did it and then went to seek ratification. Wasn't it the same process? So if we are really, really committed and we want to solve the problem, I don't think we have to go the route we are taking.
Prof, maybe that's the same way. Do you objectively, clearly, Ejidi say the present government and Nema Omeda to form with the meeting that was held Friday and then some Omuka Yinano? Ujidi say a kuno is positive?
Trust me. Let me answer you with a simple question.
Kessben 92.9.
The ultimate end is will it improve the stability of the waters? Say omoye bibia se nyamo kan ana se obu abane kan omu wie na stability no and clear yenye. The ultimate aim is to get the waters clean. So no matter what you do, and the water still remains as they are or even worse, please, forget it. You haven't done anything. It is not what you've done. It is the result that we need. So if whatever you do doesn't lead to the result or bring the result, the desired result, sorry, in my view.
But clearly, in Syria, it will not take. It's not a 9-day wonder. We are not going to see in the next 2-3 months to say, these chemicals. And indeed, President even said that there are chemicals that are that can even work faster and heavier when it comes to air clearing of air water and air pressure, woman, and all those things. So, in as much as you want to see the water getting clean and all that, the other aspect that I really dealt with in terms of the mining reforms, in terms of NIMO on grounds, in terms of getting almost about 450 excavators seized, in terms of getting Emrano, processed, in terms of getting 65 dockets, around there for them to prosecute and all that. All these ones, Prof, who said Juma or my year are limo and maniema SSA.
You see, Niamu Kenya Efe, let me catch on Efe. So, who take time now? We see now go search the old administration. Then, no more year, you will see the number of tax sources that they were from, about 5 or 6 of them. Other things that were not even known in the public were all done underground. By the end of the day, what did the people of Ghana say? Mimo example, that was the state made it mind say, Obeso Solvo Galamseno. And so no anti stability no I improve within I think about 6 months. Anti eti even na you the share making abano and you president no. Mra no campaign o ka say to me na ehye abanin sa na wo hu kwan say you betina ye bia no betina ya ma problem na yakon ya bitumi na man busum wotwe eni busumi duni Nti ni oka ye no, se na ona da Ghana fo a. Anka samre ese nsu etimi hu evidence. Se nsu no de men ka se beti krojin se ne na eti kane no nemu anke broni bi baka se evidence bi se ni ekosui ampa ekon no yedi nkuni. But the ono baka ye no eno ne esi aye hu ni ne onchechemu ode ba no. Sabi na ban ba ko no so ho no otichemu. Sabi aban ba ko no so de onchechemu. Enti mi ye mi hu ni se naimo responsible mining, the ultimate end is to achieve the desired result.
Exactly.
And so if the desired result a year from now or it's been 10 months, and that doesn't come, do we have to record this as an achievement? No. Absolutely not. You cannot. So people should not tickle themselves thinking that, like, oh, excavator, there was a bizarre question. So how many excavators are imported? How many are in circulation? How many do we even need? Have those those questions be answered? All this one, nobody has said that, oh, Ghana, we have about 10,000 excavators and a work system. And say, 10,000 excavators, and maybe 2,000. And for your Juma, Yakwan, MMC, Fono, Dom. Now, the Akani, here, Ubia can be satchel.
No, but clearly, a bear din kakra unhunisa say obeka say on my money na no omometre how many excavators a war a system. Why are they going to start? Are they going to start from last 10 years, last 5 years, last 2 years, as against now? Because now they are telling us they have a way of even tracking it, they have a way of monitoring. President even went further to tell CSOs and they said, listen, henceforth in this is what we are doing. Unye sand process na yema enfem. I mean, ye besan kachre kra say DVL for ne omoma kenyina kra aba port honum where they've established and sitting to know and monitor the kind of excavators by and all that. Are these not even enough to prove that things are even in the process of seeing, I mean, a clarity in the excavator matter?
You see, the rendition you're giving is laughable. Rendition number is laughable. Laughable because, sir, we don't know the volume of cars we have in this country. The number of cars are my way. And to say, oh, my muna say, oh, city, won't mean the number of cars are my then I'm afraid nobody is leading. Because any well-planned system, they know how many cars they have in circulation. And nothing as a would could deep bonia. Ye timi a post for it as right for Timmy should be say Saka registration number we and they could disable.
Sorry, the DVLA forward. So obviously they are tracking.
Mammy can't say me. Say Timmy who said a child said DVLA for him. Car do a and so when car do a it's back who could be bonny to make me a catch or say Ghana your 10,000 cars. Cars to make me a group to say your Corolla say your Daxon say your Bedford say you make me a catch. Some person can and to make me a catch or excavator say near war. And so catch me say, when you excavator do a Mema example back to car nafa friend to Konongu Kumasi Kwaisu. Udu Konongu a Yoben Kuminifa. Excavator is one maybe a district officer. Udu and Yinama excavator as a good honor, a district district assembly officer. Uko Obuasi, Udu Obuasi and Yinamo and Yakwantana, excavator good Ben Kuminifasono, a higher district assembly. So what I say? Udu one at Sanfa and a city Ben Kuminifano. That's Sanfano or district assembly. Inti the American say, ye know ya gene say, P say be say ya e ko no. Say be say ya ko ye be say ko a. Enya ho akade ne de ye no.
Inti ho akade ne den before e be interview so ho akade ne den na person mo yetisi ya. Yaka maka. Me akono akade ya miensa na hia sisi. One, say excavator bi ama
Nancy yetimi enya excavator nyina. It is excavator no mudi ye galamsey no. Nti twa excavator so a ye wie e ho no. Ye tosu mienu chemicals na omodi ba no. Say you stop chemicals from about the side because the state powers reside with the president and his team. Nti say stop I try to saying chemicals na and also on ye wie ye tosu miensa shamfa na ye build wo ha first na ye important and then shamfa no ye build wo ha omunim kofo mo build wo mo nti shamfa no so yetimi stop shamfa production and maintenance and restoration tani ma mi say ye wie afeka che obi ase opso ye galamsey onkoso se de na speaker bi ni kasa no onfa shovel onfa pikas nkonkonko ye after all tete no enna no modi ye enu ti ne free good kus no enti onipa ne kwa koya o di sap bo ni pikas koya o kwa di obenya no enno so enti oye ba ku mienu miensa ni obenya no enno so enti ono kasa de bejai obi ani obeka chere se enti wu nya se wodi blue guard ba ko transo ni so wu nya se wodi first tax obeku ba bia just track these three variables and stop it. If you get these three variables done, the rest leave it because the effectiveness will not be assured.
Okay. All right. Prof, you better ask the pastor only a din komo. Yene Professor Eric Abavari or your UTAC President KNUST no 18 common. The time check is 13 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. on Sanson for Kojo Preko Dankwah. Matanase from now to 9:40. Yeah, the Jumediano Abaye. Your text messages 45. Your text messages in our face so yeah or WhatsApp messages in our Fabra. You be dini na ho enkomo e wo fianam. And then you didn't come truly to really see a kwan be faswa. You be ma illegal mining in our face so all the issues concerning it in no. And then you can't na manesi. In paying for atnase. Ora Henry Ben Smith or your chairman Coastal Zone Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners watana say saso na minia bema apia Bwedi. Okay, Apua Bwedi, Director of Communications of Federation for African Youth, or also Atnase, and then Benjamin of all the Ancients. And also Atnasik, the Executive Director, Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, and also Atnasi Yepa. You have been come near share a mampenini meeting with the CSOs in Inano, a home for swanning since I saw by clearly, we share a questions if a CSOs in her buy now. You want to ask yourself truly if these are all the questions that they really wanted to ask, and also say and all the solutions that were given by the president and the presentation that was done by the lands and natural minister. So is it enough to really tell us say enyema etumi akoye enyema etumi asesa eno ho komo nyina na eba bedi ni nyina ewo efie ha no anything no o text messages no WhatsApp messages na fabra o pese also do contribution efa Facebook 92.9 like na share na comment. I will read all your messages to AM Informatnasi and then me at the TV me BBM film na fe almost edi obeso omo kanom na almost omaka afa ho eben for michiamo bibia boko de
ojo nyame adom bibia boko
Eric Mr. Benisia
nyame adom
bibia boko de mi hu wache Richard Nemfro won okay I feel no can say no yes I was Raben me patcho bibia boko de yeah, the radio so I say. Rabbi Meroba Shassier, Isan is one of a small scale honomono air in terms of a minus, Yindin Komo in Fiona. First of Mijidi is a Oko president meeting, but your own bear microphone and Mamika crack. But I say, Oko meeting, okay. So tell me, the meeting in itself, how do you see it? Was it positive for you?
Yeah, thank you. And to you and all the listeners and the viewers too as well. I think that it was really an opportunity for us to engage directly with the president. And from my personal perspective, I realized that the president has got a real personal commitment to the fight against this illegal mining.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? At the meeting, I was directly looking at the president's face and his demeanor in terms of his willingness to get this illegal activity issue resolved. And I think bringing all of us together, CSOs and all the professors and all that, it's an indication of a commitment of the government to come up with solutions. I believe in solutions, not basically ban the whole thing. So generally, there was a good indicators that shows that the government, on behalf of the president, is really, really ready and determined, wholeheartedly, not in a sarcasm aspect of like the previous government did.
But what did the previous government do?
They were not. They came up with all the community mining schemes, whatever, but they were not up to task. They were not delivering exactly what they were supposed to do. They were not delivering exactly what they were saying. What they want to do was not being implemented.
For instance,
community mining, the approach was bad. You know, they didn't involve the direct involvement of the traditional authorities, which I believe they are the major stakeholders, because they release the lands for mining to take place, and they have a right on the land. So basically, if you're going to control illegal activity, they are the major people that they need to be sensitized. You need to bring them on board, so that, because there is no way anybody can go to a mining site to do illegal activity when a chief or a traditional authority has no link to it. So if they get the mindset right, if they are able to figure out that, look, this is our community. If the water gets toxic, or if the turbidity is worse, it affects we more better. Because before it gets to another point, maybe there could be a process that could have made it better. But we are suffering. So it is our land, it is our water, it is our everything. So I'm looking at it from a perspective that the minister came up with a fantastic, that all they've set up blue water guards that are going to be on the water. That is fantastic. But we are coming now today to discuss really the modalities and solutions that we believe we, the small-scale miners, can work directly with NIMOS to achieve the real goal and keep this. We can give timelines. People were talking about timelines that the president did. Of course, you can't give a timeline, but we believe within a minimum of 2-3 years, we should be able to get things done if really the commitment is there. It's not a big deal. Because the issue is that if let's say we're talking about at the forum, they came up with laws and repealing and all that. That is fantastic. We repeal the laws in the forest reserves. Nobody's going there. There is enforcement. That should be done. No problem. The political will is there. But sensitization and education at the mining communities level should be paramount. Serious community engagement.
Yebeba solutions, but before I call Ora Ben clearly, in the minds of a Ghanaian sene or Maimu Hanina, Timufu Ninano, the moment on bete a small scale miners, it brings a whole different perception altogether. Yes, someone are more saying Sassano. That is more saying Sassano.
I will not say no, and I will not say yes.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? That is where I think it's good that we are having this engagement, because most people or the public do not even understand who is a small-scale miner and a galamsey man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They always put the two together. For instance, I have a mine. I have a small-scale mine. I'm a licensed small-scale mine. Sometimes I feel very, very uncomfortable when you are somewhere and people start talking about galamsey and they point at you like you're a galamsey man, because they don't really. Now who krata now we mining banka convoy ne be doing convoy and doing. But here we don't look at that. Why? It's because such engagements are all na entire noso. One time frame my educated public na monti edumanasi. So be here galamsey obi a oni krata bia na ode ne pe eko baabi eko ye adwuma bia oya obia regulator bia enhwe no obia nkyerɛ de onye oyɛ de opɛ na wakotutu asase no wayɛ de opɛ. But every day, every week, the Minerals Commission is supposed to come there, check what we are doing. Just that the enforcement or the regulation aspect was a bit not and so each other until small scale miners. Naimos accountable. Say you bet you say you differentiate who a galamsey is and what a small scale miner really is.
All right. Yeah, so I just needed the overview on it because Mabobono, I mean, we're going to look at the law in itself. We'll look at the issues of the proposals now, and then the move now. But Robin, my name is Okoye dear, but even if one can also share so your overview of the whole meeting with the civil society organizations, with the president. Net was saying.
That's media. Mekoye.
Okay, fantastic.
Representing the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. And corona, prepare your position.
Okay.
Dream severe. And Kabia, beyond the stakeholder engagement, there could be a technical committee because various stakeholders on bound will be on a position. Per se address the issue once and for all. But I say ministers and governments and as agencies wanted to present the data they have and also interventions and initiatives on Muteki are resolve this particular matter once and for all. But from your perspective, I think that the free engagement galamsey cannot be solved. It cannot be solved because one, we look at it from a government perspective and not a state perspective. And there's a difference between government and state. If you're in a government perspective, I say a buy yet so no, you per se address a problem no. But when you look at it from that perspective, you can never solve it. You also who say yet so no ye twemu krana ye de nhihye bia to ho a buy for krobeba no e be disu a an inclusive all binding intervention. It goes beyond government. Right, but who tear the more canonimos or whatever they call it, and it's annual money when you're buying current a buying, and we any sana you are not going to solve the problem. And your position before the canocrana who said various governments, because of said various government didn't look at it from a state perspective, they introduced several interventions, but none of them yielded the results I pay. And most of the interventions have been false. Until you hear Galam Stop, Vanguard, Operation BBBB, all those, and currently I say what Naimos new water guard. The perspective is government, and until we look at a state perspective, so we realize that most of the things they mentioned, regulatory reforms, yes, it is good, but one issue Ananke Peso Muhammad, which senior crack was institutional reforms. Because most of the complex complacencies, any issues may not be regulation, may not be law. Issues now galamsey, a course of galamsey, it may not be law, but it's the institution. The MENCOM, the MDF, Mineral Development Fund, the MEF, any stakeholder institution, the ministry itself, stakeholder institution there was always say people who engage in sustainable mining, or ye na juma ye. Se wanyi na juma ye a asudie ben ene wo say ye de masa institution no any nkrofo na mo manage this particular institution. There was lack of mention of it. I think someone raised the question, say more can regulatory reforms, more can all the other interventions and person implement here. Mo say institutions be ene ya hwe a man crofo no mukura license grano, some of them engage in unsustainable mining. Me normally I don't want to call it illegal mining. I want to call it unsustainable mining. And I say galamsey are more find the local term because galamsey no so I expose to academia bebre. And I think most of us talking about galamsey are very emotional and sometimes irrational in our conversation when it comes to galamsey. Nti ohwa institution, for example, akunta mining ayeka ho asemi. Ubekomuna or license. License and say forest mining. But who supervised the activities? Eye menkom. Adentina menkom bet na ho amanako ye unsustainable mining. Why na otiwa o say akunta mining ko ye unsustainable mining. Ye chi akunta mining na ye parade na court no. Adensi na sa sumasi no. Supervisor no a o men kom no ye parade in court. Right? But there was silence on it. So which means you are still protecting people who are working within these institutions. Into se samra no, da bia me ka se Ghana enye mra na ye problem o. Eye nipa. O pass samra na se sen. O se samra na se institutions no enye responsive to mra na o mra na agu. Make community I say mining in the forest reserve. Yes, they could be because law no enchire ba bia eye forest reserve. Law no say vested resource. And a vested resource no ba bia wo bia no say wonsu ase kra na say o man no ka say resources wo hwa. Sa resources no ne right na eye o man ne dia and o man no president and the do man no it is vested in the president. Nti say gold no ewo kwaye mu na say kwaye no mu aban president net wo no person the lines obetimi di ama, but there must be someone or an institution that supervises say kwaye no mu a wokomu kra no onkoye no basa ne mum ubedi regulation ni some what do you call the practice standard operational practices ubedi so best practices are ubeko kwaye no mu kra bia ubebu dua kra mu ni bebre because you onua wo so obu ene wo nua ni kwan so obu ena so obe kra bia instead of sanko be surface no kra no ye ne underground kwaye ni betima gina obetima tu akwase akoye, but who supervise? No one, right? So your problem no eno. Now the other part I say who conference no, and normally metie mo professors ni binin krofo amukan, we always look at maybe we have a problem tree. You look at the causes, the problem, and the consequences. Now, environmental resource management, European Union, or might develop a framework, a friend DPSIR framework. Drivers, pressures, state, impact, and response. We have your conversation, no, which is true, and I many they always look at the consequences and the problem. Most of us, so na say water turbidity level, acidity, it was through, and I hear man say they are true. But have we looked at the drivers? Have we actually sat down to look at the drivers, the contributors of illegal mining? Have we actually addressed that issue? Because illegal mining is an economic issue, it's a social issue, it's a governance issue, it's a security issue, and also an environmental issue. It is our person solve in a state way, and the government say be implementing one-sided government regime approach now. Person solving in a state-led approach. You have to look at the various disciplines. It will be a kafa illegal mining and address them one by one. What me addressing now? Then you are looking at a sustainable way of addressing this issue once and for all. But say okoye regime send your mokai and so I say now we attach emotions to it. Yes, and so I say say yes, but let's look at what causes it, what is causing it, and how can we address the issue. You better tackle the causes and then also look at the interventions and see how best we better solve this problem once and for all. I think that beyond the stakeholder engagement, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the government of the Republic of Ghana must establish a committee, various positions and coastal miners, small scale miners in the coastal sector, youth. Obi bia all position beyond, because I saw Colonel Festus Abwaji who even said one thing and manage pass a good general. You bia wako filter one kubi. That's why we in a fight. Because the Galamseyers are from they are citizens. They are 4 million. They are citizens. Are you going to kill all of them? 52% now, unya ya okoton ye no, gold ball 9 is from there. The day you stop Galamsey, you ban it, you put whatever you call it, you collapse your economy. You are collapsing your economy because the economy is dependent on illegal mining. So once we are looking at the pros, let's look at the cons, and then do the analysis, cost benefit analysis, and put certain situations in place. bit my sustainable solution a best pane government now a state-led approach.
All right, Ben, you better ask this. So technically you're looking at a technical committee that should be formed to deal with this thing, and not a government kind of approach, but a state perspective where we're going to have all the people who matter to sit and solve the problem from there. But we'll come back to details on as to how we're going to solve that particular problem and all. Orapia, my your overview of a year prayer conference and another meeting the encounter with the president on this particular illegal mining issue.
Kojo,
yes, sir.
Medase na Maakye Kessben etiefo ni ahwefo nyina. The mechanism made in Kessben bema my boss, that is the CEO of the Federation of African Youth Development, the Honorable Rauf Abugri. Last week Friday, Nami was Jubilee House Obi. Obi Sam a general overview of the engagements by the presidency. Where the CS was, I will say, I will give the presidency 10/10 for organizing this particular conference. May media engagements be with one of your sister stations, Joy. And I make her say, anything that threatens our very existence as a people, no, we must tackle it with the full force it deserves. Adie bia ebe yese etwa ye nkwaso anase ensu aye nom inframa ye home no e threaten no see you deal with that particular thing now. I was see dealing with that particular thing with a brute force. Brute force no nkyerɛ sɛ yɛku bi. Nanso wɔ sɛ yɛkyerɛ sɛ yɛkura hoɔden na yɛde prevent that canker from sinking deep in our society and our body politic. First of all, many GE say the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Amakofi-Boa kyerɛ yɛ situation a aban yi bɛto yɛ. Any measures are aban ede to ho ede solve this illegal mining menace. Many opinion can say your cancer many jinhuye pass we must be able to distinguish between responsible mining and illegal mining. The friend galamsey no. Say ye lumpy all together. Near deal with all as one, we are going to miss the point. Because many can simply say mining enya de boni. I'm a political historian. Meaning say from 1471, Don Diego de Azambujes were engaged in mining, surface mining, anything they're afraid of Gold Coast. Former Goodyear abwa Ghana in so many ways. Now, so the Etienne say, Siciano, the way the mining is being done, as a bois or mine and I say or mine, that is the question. Because me did say Obifa Kwan Paso, the miner, na Odim Ranoso, say because you on saying you, on say and sasia. There is no business in dealing with that person ruthlessly. In that same vein, se nimpe binsu anje in krata certificates, mining licenses, na okoye kwaye mu, na okoye nsuo mu, na de galamsey ese o mine ese ye nsuo a, na ensese ye transition in hwan. Mini akojo, one thing I was so much happy about, nanso I was a bit skeptical about its implementation at NIMOS. Mitie, the leader of NIMOS, Colonel Dominic Boa. I believe say na ye what dem ho nyina no. Say obi any J presentation bi ho a na Colonel Boa ne presentation. Omoye hu say this galamseyers and illegal miners no, there are environmental terrorists. Sabe almost say nsuo say kwaye. Enti obisa permission from the president say they are going to deal ruthlessly with this galamseyers.
Sure.
Omayeti say over 400 military men and policemen have been trained that the first batch of NIMOS they will deploy into the forest reserve and also around our water bodies. But Kojo, I asked myself this very simple question.
Okay.
Minye can be. We have had Operation Galamsop and several operations. Kojo, one thing I wanted to ask NIMOS leader and say, all this operation we have had, no, yenyantiye, any report say soldier for no kokwa yenimu eko nsuo no ho a, these illegal miners, no, they are able to bribe these soldiers and able to give them some incentives via at a point in time, even the military men who are supposed to prevent this galamsees no more galamsees no ban. And to what shows going forward these over 400 men and women are almost first batch of 9 months I deploy
Yeah.
So almost they will not be compromised by the galamsees. Kojo, I believe the experts in science about the fact in as much as you assess with a few months the turbidity of the water is regaining its position again. Yet you see but the fact of the matter is that can we do more? Essence me break can be. See a one kwara omonsa ne ho.
Yes.
And kwara various organs any ho no ma. Now it means there is something wrong.
Yes.
We must be able to look at what is causing that. Yeah, after seeing what is causing that, it was here a say, "Yehu problem no, Kojo. How are we solving it?" The attorney said, "We cannot win this galamsey with guns and bullets. Mampenyi can be. Or say, winning the fight against illegal mining should be at the heart and minds of Ghanaians." Sabi to me, catch say, "Emebu na omuye galamsey no." Kojo, when I did the interview, I told the host and I said, most of these young people, they are doing the galamsey because they want to escape poverty. As simple as that. But the fact is that, see, there were alternative source of livelihood. Most of them will stop it. But the fact is that, what is he going to do? And the fight is at the heart and minds of Ghanaians. As a bind, as Ghana for, have we failed the youth or not? I would say without mentioning where say you're failing youth Sabe, Ghana Hanawan school you deserve the right to be able to also work and earn a living. And in my earlier comment, what I was saying is in stopping galamsey, in preventing illegal mining, first of all, my young illegal miners and mix it with small scale miners. We will sift and separate the two. Near my regulatory bodies now, my license, and so they should employ more people to be able to safeguard around where people are mining to see, say, oh, yeah, dear Enko, yeah, you will be brought to the right track and punished accordingly. All right.
But I say, Mr. Bwedi, coming from the Director of Communications for Federation for African Youth. My member, Henry Ben Hobiona Fe Yendi and Commandant, we should go to find solutions, to these matters. Now, the presentation that was done by the Land and Natural Resource Minister clearly gave too many Enyama out where they think that they are doing much from the government side. I'm not getting it clear with the state and the government. So from the government side, these are the things that they're doing. Now, he's telling all of us, he said, almost about 250 mining licenses will be revoked. Okay? Don't go in review of the mining sector or probably the laws and the act and all that. Now he's telling us, he said 90% of the mining reform zone has been completed, which means that almost about 10% is left for us to see what will happen and all that. Now, with your area, as in the small scale miners, if you hear this, is it not a solution enough? And if there are more solutions from your quarters, from your association, what would it be?
I think they are doing their part, and we also have to do our part. It should be an integrated approach. It's not only the government, nor we the miners alone. It should be an integrated approach from traditional authorities, from the government, from people like our brothers, like we are all talking the same language about how to do it responsibly. The right word is responsibly. You are talking about the small-scale miners putting chemicals. Some of these are not real facts. Naturally, the earth itself, I have got a team of experts around me. I've got metallurgists, I've got professors, Professor Ahin from the UNER, University of Natural Resource in Sunyani. I've got metallurgists, geologists. They are all around me. We intend coming up with a model at jurisdictional approach where it's not about using the money too much on enforcement, giving money to soldiers and giving them monies and taking. That's not really the solution. It's about money pano on ti adena opeso ye nasi. Epachotie ni
nipa na otu agudie
no ade no ne communities no sankrofo no ma on ti ade na sese ade we ye pese ye boa wo enye se ye pamo don't o attack so obi come de no onim kwan no na o sign de soldiers squad one we bad de a obe dan na ni wako, and that is what is happening now. That is not the real enforcement. Is good. But sasika na eko police ni soldiers ni hono mo no ni yama we no omfa moa na enya responsible mining na yen support communities no yema ahemfo no ntia se adwuma no asase na yemo amode na no modea ni mo no yepese ye ni ye masa hwan no hu sade no ye ni ye no benya bi adi na ye ni ye amana dachi a onye ma ni ye. This is not something we should even enye bibia yama na ye hu enso yen ya ye wadwuma num no me hu no sa
nye ma na enye hu sen esase na esay
because
ensuo na esay
because aban we no me hu ni sa aban we no ebetima ye because you need the commitment of the state. We cannot do it without it because they've got the power.
Yes,
they regulate the sector, and it says state no support ye no ma ya ye adwuma na che aye wo hu nimdie. This cooperative mining scheme. It's something that should be encouraged. Almost about 20 years back, I used to use my own funds because me when said my year adwuma na che me timi ko ba bi na ensuo hu nyina ye pa ye ma obi a little bit of a distance na ye ma ensuo no enenti naturally ujai na wonye adwuma wo ho na eyeya ensuo no beti because ensuo no eko enye se gina fa ko enye etene eko Nyankopon wabo ni say na Nyankopon na nkaye nkie nwui bibia odibia the system works on itself again and gives the so yenya ade na responsibly no eno bema sa chemicals almost ye dey call insunum no. For instance, we come up with a chemical called Sechem. It replaces cyanide and mercury. Say over decriminalize rivers. That is whether it's possible technology aspect, I have no idea. But with the experts that I have, cut the use of cyanide no so jai mercury no use and replace it with a less toxic chemicals. And no, finding solutions no. Pacho de oka and the product biaba. We are all still talking to government. Say, Omomayen come roll out all these mercury and cyanide that essential Yemayen jai. Now use chemical. We've demonstrated it in Burkina Faso. We've done it in Mali, Congo, Brazzaville, and the government is holding on to it. You kromo no. Yenyan somu. Yani omo kamba yen somu. Minimum reason, but I hope they will. And that is why we are coming up with training programs. All mining communities now. How I was so yena fast chemical with the kind of crown, but cyanide. What's that? All the cyanide. I do wait within 10 minutes you're gonna die. But they are doing it. Why? Because he has to survive. But
isn't an excuse to see us?
I'm not saying we shouldn't do enforcement. Don't get me wrong.
No, I get you.
I get all you, that I'm talking about. I support enforcement. It is no-go area to do in the river body. I'm not with that, but I'm not particular about because Pacho de make out say onya kromfo say obi anajo wabo awura obi dem na okotunu pono we awia ketekete or ye adwuma de ne blood ye adwuma. These are people we should look at. These are people also ye direct omu yi na de omu yi bibi papa ma oman no enya emfaso because there is a value chain in this particular sector.
Okay,
why I'm saying that is that so my communities adwuma omu ye ni ye experts like these people professors are nimdia ye de machines ma chamfa machine. It's not no-go area. How can me a grown-up person like me na me mining na me de chamfa oba no be de shovel gina ho no de sa chamfa no de akosi nsuo so nsuo no or mine o nsuo no because only alternative bia enti ye pamo omo a ye nyusu sa challenges no and fan create opportunities near dey emma ye ho because wo dwene say wo yi na free ho no. Now we get a juma na we create money panel. So we are talking about geological investigations in hard rock areas, not close to river bodies. Okay. Hard rock, we are advocating seriously for hard rock mining.
Okay.
Where I don't know, Ejumahwe, AGC, Tebrebe, Ghana Gold Fields. They are all hard rock men. They've been in existence for years. Years. And they've made money for themselves and their family for years. Why is Ghana not looking at that area? Yeah, the gold board is now established. Why? Gold board, oh no. Sika eba ni nyina no. I was see a DBS anema we nyina. Ni prevent access to these alluvial areas. Emma mo koye adwuma ebe sensu no. Na yema ye nimko hard rock no so because on yen sensu. For instance, where we are now, in Shokra we don't have it. We need even water to do the processing. We have to dig boreholes. We have to dig boreholes and give some to the communities. Sending in a capital intensive. You need the resources. You need the skill. You need people, the experts. So me, I've come along with all the experts.
Okay.
I'm looking at a jurisdictional approach, bringing experts together to manage and do it and set up a model. Something that you can show to Ghanaians and say, look, this is how the thing should be done. Because the world is going to a criteria.
Okay.
You have to go through a certification process.
All right.
I also to me ye jumani ye Emma unya and sena gold krano ya beto yato. So the emphasis should be on the responsible and integrating the communities to get the work done.
Okay.
And not the enforcement is good, but that money scan ye ni scan be brio. Mo mai yenti scan so I ma you know, nipa nantia say look, I didn't make no. Me am health crown M1.
Into the idea say gap president mete the kind year say obe ensure say enough budget ebe ko the fight of galamsey no
it is fight if fight no koye military fight na koye sika o de koma omo kokon akochiche atotoka asamomo there. I should really understand that context. It was not clear because at the meeting we couldn't have proper questions. The time frame was very short, so we couldn't come up with questions. I had a lot of questions to ask, but the time was very short. So if you're asking me that question in terms of financing or budget,
increasing budget,
the budget should not go in for the Kessben or the security measures. It should go into the sensitization and letting the people understand and putting in the equipment. Excavators, you're talking about excavators. Excavators, when it comes to the country, it can do construction, it can do farming, it can do a lot of stuff. You know, you guys should not be looking at say Galamsey, excavator deep. Now you must say Galamsey. People are using excavators to do bigger stuff, sustainable farming.
Okay, all right.
You understand?
Matthias here. Matthias
you need to put it and use it well. It's just they don't understand the sector, you know.
All right.
And they should let us come together and get it done.
May I say, Ora Henry Ben Smith, ono chairman ma Coastal Zone Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners. Ono na woten en kansisian. Ora Ben, solutions is what we are looking at for now. Now, solutions are binding atujan mi bubu bi so looking at 250 mining license to be revoked. Oshe the attorney general so be kan na okeka nema bebre as to how they are reviewing the 2462 bringing in the LI 2505. I mean, prosecution is on. One of the critical issues that attorney general Razi has to do with bailer judges, you know, edema that was one issue that he did. I mean, public tribunal bail is on, or 65 dockets. I mean, giving you almost about 600 miners that are going to be dealt with and all that. I mean, these solutions and like Ora Bweduka and 9 move also the positive results that are coming from there. Over 1,000 pump machines on my season when I come out Greg 1,004. I mean, been arrested, 450 excavators and all that. Are these not probably a mixture of government state solutions are so far?
These are government solutions. They can never be state government solutions. But by me correct, you see, no one is born a criminal.
Sure.
So we have basic psychology. We have something called nature and nurturing, right? Humans are mainly made from nurturing, but no nature. Yeah, structurally. Babia yetete o socialize you no ene ma wonya useni otie usu ene oban. So sometimes I get worried. Yeah, it's true. Like they may be terrorizing the environment. They may be certain injustices committed by individuals onto the environment. But saying the label of environmental terrorists, no, who made them terrorists? Who made them? And that is where we must go to ask ourselves as a state, who made them terrorists?
Sure.
Tina Meka said, Galamsey fight now expose the emotions, even in academia. I was listening to some of the guys you called, almost you tag or whatever.
Yeah, professor.
Sometimes when you listen to them, there's too much emotions. And I agree, emotions because of the impact and the consequences are the results na the banner. But beyond the emotions, you need to sit down carefully and develop a modeler who be to solve the issue beyond government. Right now, make kind about the German model in terms of more cable or more issues of coal. When the German or more countries or many UK or more countries are not more depending on coal because of environmental issues. Or more cars or more facing out coal. And if you look at their inclusive model, right, strategy, very consensus model, our model facing out coal, no, and affecting or more economy, unlike the UK. Because UK, Margaret Thatcher was very harsh. Send you and make us say force. If you use force, you not get a problem solved. Now, maybe you see, when we talk of the so-called environmental terrorists, Kojo, your theory be normally they explain corruption, and corruption here could even include this unsustainable mining. Maybe now theory, your friend no gone, GONE. So gone theory no. Gina ejinamuno echre greed. One ejinamuno chre opportunity. Ene womuno chre need. Ena ine womuno chre exposure. Right. Now, enu sa gone theory explaining human behavior. Dientia obi edi bone. Ana dientia obi epeso se asasi. Dientia obi peso obokrono. Sa theory explaining. As a country, have we done thorough research into the space to identify which category of people are we talking about in the Galamsey fight, so that when we are developing a comprehensive model, it targets each of these groups within the GON. It targets the greedy people, it targets the people with opportunities who could be politicians and who could be also be greedy. It targets people who are needy. Nipa na ekoho because onihwe nti na okoye sa niema na oye no oye needy. How do we even get a need-based solution to some crofone omuye needy no? Do we even know them? Out of the 6 million no, as of mine yatima data who say 6 million or 4 million na minister na kan ho honom say omu engage in small scale mining no omumu 300,000 omu ho because they are needy. Have you collected any data on that? We've not. Na yaba in exposed communities no otiho. What the licenses na free Accra e dey amobi some be mining e woni community mu. O ye mining no ama inflation kosro senior ni ba bi omo ye mining bia inflation here double triple.
Okay. Because
mining communities no omo prices e was slow. Me ma cutting other those days I make UDS what around 2000. Tinga was a small village. But Dankwah was a small village, right? But the moment almost started mining no, omuniyema nyina bo be yedin. At a point in time, no omuniyema bo credit. Even today, omuniyema bo yedin say wa nuyema bo. So I'm in the community. Ode menkom am mobilizes am wa mi community. Oba mi community no. Because of the illegal mining, ni sika onyanti no, onu timi to nuyema ediska send your peso dibia. Meaning to me, so it has created inequality. I'm also exposed to the mining. Land in the media. And I bind their movie. Have we even identified people based on exposure? Yangi data biao. We've lumped everything together. 4 million, 6 million and illegal mining. We are using the same solution for all these individual or categories now more gone and they see implementing solution. It is a government approach. Now, two, you see, you chroma. And that is why I was expecting, say, and Minister of Finance, Ebeka, the so-called NIMOS, no, and I say the canon. NIMOS, no, and I was a Minister of Finance, or critical. Because if you want to address youth unemployment, which is huge, unemployment nam 13.5.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say youth unemployment nam 30+%. The working population, no, 14 million. 14 million, no. You to know no within 30%, 30+% of them.
Huge.
Who take Ghana Statistical Service data? Most of these mining communities, now make catch you be Bobi, yes, it could be the Bobi and a Bodi or something. Bodi. Western North.
Yes.
One of the poorest districts or municipalities in Ghana is Bodi. Now so biti Bodi, na data na chere say or poor, unemployment rate is high, inequality is high. Na say onu na chino agudi owa onkutu. So people become terrorists because of poverty. People become terrorists because of unemployment. People become terrorists because of inequality. The moment they got in, they almost drew politics, politicians, or the V8 was if you be 10, was if you 20, maybe to croquet one or no, or buy a year, or ye 10,000, 20,000. Now we were good year with Machia. Minkotu.
Kobodi no crowd say very high when it comes to these Galamsey
yes,
things.
but
Very,
Ghana
very
Statistical
high.
Service data shows that the poverty levels, I was looking at data. I'm not me say mining communities, the person who the entire binum, and realize that most of the mining communities are poor communities. In terms of poverty indices, we are poor, multidimensional. Okay, your multidimensional poverty is around 23% or so, based on the PAC, the Population Housing Census of 2021. Bodi, for example, was more than 50%. It tells you the poverty level of these areas. In this ametio, na agudi o mikrom na hia kumia. Dienti na men kotu. Yenje no free ho. You see, people also think that those who are doing the unsustainable mining, they are irrational. Minia, they are rational, but a common ya. She said, "Now, na me share video bi, Kojo. Me share video na me hu obi a onam nsuo mu nsufi. I think no wodi nsufi no kra no aboard here or something like that. Omodi nsufi no no aboard here. San nsufi no ebinom numbi. You think they don't know the consequences on their health? You think they are ignorant?
No.
It's about survival.
Yes.
It's about survival. So until you conduct a thorough research to understand and appreciate the issues, and then propose a model to tackle each of these issues,
Very good.
oh yes, who waste your resources?
Yes. It's not.
You are just wasting resources. You are wasting. Until America said their government approach, they are no state approach.
Yes.
A state approach must be inclusive. There should be inclusivity. MPP for my opposition, CPP for PNC for Obian for the proposal amra. Civil society, small scale miners, Obian for the proposal amra. Yeah, infuse the proposal into a permanent document. Then give ourselves timelines in terms of implementation. There should be a work plan. Yeah, you know, Jetum say ne was say ye free ha, yakoha, ye free ha, yakoha, obi obefum biano, because of say ye Jetum no ofuma mrandi ubedi. But yanyene sa obi about single approach no diako. Now mamin kasem, you see, another issue and person coming. I think Hanabisi is not around. MDF, Mineral Development Fund.
Yes.
Wouldn't say your mineral royalties, 80% of them. And I say, senior, small scale mutual royalties, mineral royalties.
Say they said that effective.
You see, also on minor, that didn't make us or minus.
But as I say, mutia.
I will say it to you.
But then effective.
Recently, I'm going to say, no, it should be 5%. But because a Jumana Ankasa one will say, it's
Umbe Mike and Mamma.
a Jumana Ankasa no is capital intensive. It is a Jumana said, you mean you can. Sabina and channel, until all cast resources say, or channel 2. So what the quiet enforcement bibria. Now, share my opportunities at one. Oh, I see kind of a no.
What the money we not it is established that they are supposed to pay.
So,
but effective.
It's not effective.
Yes.
So you take mineral development fund. This year, for example, we are expecting almost about 7 billion because gold price is cost. And a gold price crash cost. Remember, I'm saying increasing more because we are pursuing no next can be because come here. Now, mineral development fund, 20% of mineral royalties, I was say mineral development fund. So this year, you pay about 7 billion, almost 7 billion, about 1.4 billion. I was say mineral development fund. Now, mineral development fund, Sikano. And also one in Chichimu. 55% of it I was a office administrator of school lands. Naminia. You catch all the delay, the bureaucratic process, and son Sikano be free MDF. Adru school lands no and a traditional authority no
masa worebe ho nti se me ohene na me wo masase na wo se asase no asase de me dia o ba gudie na wo so no e ya ban dia
and one many park so license
one man license abetu na license no wo di ye fe ni say wo
ohene onyane de
obenya ne de kra ebe che e na ebe ba kra na ma ketuo bi adenti na ohene ne mfa asase ne ma obi obenya ne sika ntem
that will be the conflict there
adenti na ohene no se me ohene wo me kru mu a adenti na me mfa ma obi a obetua me sika ne ntem dan se metwen se aban beji sika na atena so 1 year bi di akoye interest e di akoto treasury bill treasuries e di akoto fixed deposit waje 3 month interest 6 month interest ansa na watam sika na di abreme adenti na metwen
no cry say
eno cry ba na ye sen omo tena so akra ha no mo di ni nyina no mo di kuma bi e di akoma ahemfu no de na che so ohene no betwen ama wo de na asase abra onum se ni area wa gudi obetwen ama wo de asase na be mo bi ono de be mo bi ansa na waba uye ni free ho a sa 45% no you what we call mining development mining districts, right? Mining development scheme or mining community development scheme or something like that. 20% of 45 now cano. I was say you develop the communities. You create alternative source of livelihoods. Meko minister never presented say omo create alternative source of livelihoods. Yeah. You see, and sometimes if you are a state institution, you must speak on authority. And authority here means that give us the facts. Don't be generic. Alternative source of livelihood means say minu ehun yo say senior ben hun yo. Man who number of jobs are created here. They just stated that alternative source of livelihood. How many jobs have you created? And as oba ye no say onya okra na create here. Oba ye no, how many jobs did the previous government create out of the mining development committee scheme no? One state and also trend we are creating alternative source of livelihood and all the picture be by say what could sham for. It's a waste of resources. Because we state and was so count kasa biana, you must back your kasa with facts of the activities that are embarking in that area.
Okay.
But SAS can yedia yemfan create njuma bia omoti akra no much. And for example, YSM say there's a research we want to conduct, and I think we've laid down the whole concept and everything. We want to track the effective utilization of the MDF.
Okay.
Because we believe say MDF need to be utilizing the year krana.
The impact will be felt.
Impact will be felt because when you utilize it well, it creates a buffer. Because once mining communities no, enye omu nyina miners ni nyina illegal miners ni nyina ene ye community for. Ebi free stream ne buy because aduma ni stream.
Yeah.
Ebi free baby ne buy. And this ultimate develop community for ni year, they could even serve as a buffer. A block settler miners number. If you empower the community well, if you empower them well, right, to own their own resource, that community ownership, omo betima stop obi bia, omo nsuro bia o. Opa je license free Accra bra, omo stop because they are empowered. But ono chi wono, ni MDF I was say ba no wan famre no. Ni community development wan fam oni nsuo oni hwe. Na se obi ba, ono kra be support na mo mine.
Of course.
So we need a research. We need a thorough research, develop a framework, and then use the framework to implement the framework. Are sustainable? This knee-jerk, Naimos, Vanguard, what? Master Minia.
Oh, you see it as a knee-jerk?
Oh, these are just knee-jerk policies that we want to just implement to get some media. And that be I say you blame no so cry media moka hon.
Get the head in you, Robin.
You see? You chroma media no. You see? Fortunately, I think Galam said my idea it has stayed for about 4 weeks or 5 weeks now. My idea. Say assembly beto say the media must also be a monitor and evaluation or evaluator of processes. But assembly beto ne na asem no enya gidi pe na media ja Galam say na koto. They don't become the monitor, they don't become the evaluator. Omoja koto pe obi ko peja bibi mu pe Erastus Asante ko peja bibi mu pe no masa ko back bium. Not yakoka ho asem. So I think that there must be that consistency, at least a week. There must be that consistency from the media.
Okay.
every week say at least one day crano every media house will commit itself say you better discuss the issue, the progress.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Na enye ni jeka monya ya na politician no so oni mu pa nti no monya je dede na no akoye bibi charade bi oye yepe politician ni ya di o government ya di o ya ti akoda saa na yeti koda ya Vanguard yantumi anso ano yeti koda Galam Stop yantumi anso ano yeti bibi operation bibi operation something yantumi anso ano.
Okay.
So the media must also police and keep sure that every week you better the progress of these things. And then when we are measuring the progress, my environment are clean. And they must be my main fact as about contractual. What do the NTR or Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? There be a mecha you know why he created settler jobs within mining areas? Do you know why he created the glass factories within mining areas? Because he knew, or no, a prophet. He knew that in future, having a mining area will create income inequality. Ebema obi nisika ojeno, eye kesesi obi sika. Ndi so obi sika ojeno ye kesesi obi sika. Edi emfa pepe yoma. Nti mamin create industry be in main. Sa mining area no. So that nipa no nim illegal mining na oye no. Nisika no wasura at least obi a owo aboso glass factory. Owo tie factory, bonsa tie factory. Owo whatever community no. Eso beji sika ene mining ne ya yepe. Nti se one mining ne ye pa. Onko kase ono kose nsuo. Onko kase okose asase because they almost have equal income. Ne yenuma nyina okru ewenfa. Yenuma ye industries aye tautu ni nyina ewenfa. Yeah, collapsing because we don't plan. We don't say we don't think, but we don't plan. We are not visionary enough.
Okay.
Until we become visionary enough, Galam say any better nada.
But that's a wrap, Benicia. Now we're looking at solutions. There are serious solutions that are coming in. Clearly, if I listen to rap Ben Smith and Afeso Ura Benicia, it means that the approach, even from government, now the understanding is we should now differentiate between the state and then the government. Now the approach from the government side of the whole thing, is becoming a knee-jerk, a knee-jerk reaction to in solving, the problem. You share the same view?
Kojo, Mamenka said, I disagree completely. Say a buying approach a knee-jerk.
Okay.
But before I proceed, so ni Momanana.
Yes. Yes.
I disagree completely. You see, we can decide to say we'll distinguish between the state and the government. But Kojo, what I was saying is in tackling this serious menace, I don't think the problem should be putting the state aside and putting the government aside.
Okay.
For me, what I believe is that the solution to fighting illegal mining is what we should be looking at. And not looking at whether there is a knee-jerk approach, there is no knee-jerk approach. You see, Mijidi completely say we must always start from somewhere. Say, ya started BB, now say at a point in time, as when you can Operation Galam Stop and those things are just sustainable. We should go back to the drawing board and look at how we can actually modify the solution in fighting Galamsey. And to me, I will never say whatever happened on Friday, it's not something enya de papa. I will say going forward, we can actually do so well to allow all these CSOs the chance to present a paper on what they think should be the solution. One thing I disagree completely with anybody in say Oko Galamsey areas most of them are doing that to survive. Kojo, I believe this is a gray area. We must tackle it with a lot of wisdom. First of all, the issue about unemployment has always been with us. And not the papa. Because I believe any young person be or ordained to work, there must be the enabling environment for the person to work. And also interested, say avenue nimba something illegal, you should engage yourself in that. Because invariably, So be shooting crime emu hasi. Ne jumani honoma. The person should go and take guns and engage in armed robbery. We shouldn't encourage that. I disagree completely. You see, at a point, Kojo, government over the years have failed in creating jobs for the youth. Yes, it was said about to me creating jobs for the youth. But no son trese edumane honoma go and engage in illegality. Meaning a penny can say me, I agree perfectly with him. You see, he said, ya anshe and so illegal mining anoa. Omumpo ayen illegally with license, like my senior brother here, no, we will lump all of them together. Now create a problem. Because first of all, I think in solving Galamsey issues, we should be able to do a thorough research in seeing the extent of the problem. You can be said the Galamsey issue has now become an emotional issue. But you see, Kojo, I will never discount the fact that we must be a bit emotional in discussing Galamsey. Kojo, adie bia ebe threaten your life. Adie bia ebe say okwaye ase wunsu no. Say wo deal with that particular thing now, you will never approach it without element of emotionality. The emotions will come in. And that is what you are doing. Secondly, you see, these solutions I've outlined, I think government over the years have gone through it. When I get to where we are, I'll state it clearly. After seeing the problem because of thorough research, the first approach is that we must use coercive approach in education. Say, aside from the campaigns, most of them, because of these young people are doing so to get their daily bread. Last Friday, I outlined, say, most of them are doing so because they want to escape from poverty. And the first approach is to coerce them. Said the mu saying you, mu say quiet. Our health implications, and I think, say, we have passed that stage. Because Kojo, Kessben, if you tune into almost all TV stations, radio stations, nobody can tell me, say, these young people are not hearing these things. The coercive approach must come. Then I think the third approach is the minimum force. Kojo, let me tell you one thing, Kojo. Most of the people involved in Galamsey, most of them, if not all, if you take them out of the pit, if you give them jobs, less than maybe 6,000, 7,000, because they have been exposed to money. Kojo, ask yourself, people in the media houses, how many people earn more than 5,000 cedis? But the fact is that most of them have been exposed to money into more this alternative source of livelihood now. Because or compare salaries. We must be able to say these things for them to hear. Say, so after the minimum force, the government will have no option than to go in fighting this illegal mining with brute force. You see, Okachrem said, you don't agree with Colonel Dominic Boa. Say, describe it, this Galamseyers as environmental terrorists. I will not agree with you. Kodo ushe pictures in Sasia Seno. Our forest reserve as Seno. Now catch them and say, Yentra ho, ni 40 arms. Yen kowasi omo, yeni omon kasa. You are belittling the problem we have. The problem we have as a country with regards to illegal mining is very big. And I think, say, you are past the stage of coercion, you are past the stage of minimum force, and we are now at the stage I think the brute force must come in. I'm not saying, say, I believe so much in shoot and kill. I don't believe in that. But I believe in the fact that we should be able to engage in a targeted approach in fighting these people who are destroying our water bodies and destroying our lands. And I agree perfectly. Say the brute force must come in. But the police and the soldiers who comprise of NIMOS should do so with circumspect. Because of Galamsey site. Now say you believe in shoot and kill. There is a possibility say Obisu nam honoma onye Galamsey nibi. There is a chance there can be a journalist or undercover or a research. You may kill the person mistakenly.
Yeah, sure.
And I believe said the approach must be done with the brute force by Kojo, one thing too is that bano galamsey fight na yen to me enyi ahemfo ne mfrim yen to me nso enyi the youth who live around that area nso mfrim Ben can be and I agree with him. The moment I am sikana eba royalties no we pass it through massive bureaucracy. Now it takes so much time. Nimpa. If you deprive the person of the resource or yet legally mandated to acquire, he or she will find ways and means to be able to get that particular money. No?
Sure.
And other issues, no, regulatory bodies, no, the Minerals Commission, the EPA, and other agencies, no. I was so much said when they issue the license to people to go and mine, as so almost fair say yama prospecting license and so mining, yama license just to go and mine in an authorized area and so mining in forest reserve, or mining close to water body. Kojo minu anusino the mechanic said one thing I will say it me advise this illegal miners no say senior kasai or say this mining no cost intensive. I agree with him.
Yeah, very.
Into what can we do? One solution I always preach, they say, young country miners, they say, omuntumin kamu humbom. Illegal miners, me and some mienu and nine edu, mon kamu humbom, monje license. Because I believe, say, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Goldfields, they are doing legal mining. And they are mining in rocks. Capital intensive, they have it. Yeah, expatriate firms and the mining, enya benefit, and fan komu chrome. So if Ghanaians are involved in legal mining like my senior, we should encourage them. Okay. But those young ones must also come together to ensure, say, the capital intensive nature, no, they will have the funds to be able to mine. Mesa Kansan Kabim, say, and they live with Galamsey with a brute force at this point in time. We are going to sit down, we will miss the mark, and we are all going to die because of some selfish people who want themselves.
Rapia meda say also odo dia ba meba Ora Smith on because in your initial discussions in you raised two major points. One has to do with the effectiveness of these institutions. Na Ora Benisi aka ho asem no omono they are coming to see some of these things now more no. You did say it is not too effective on that score. In never have now you who can before say best solve side. But there's a text message you say, good morning, Mr. Owos. All these Galamsey issues, the cause is unemployment. We completed University of Education Winneba 2020. Up until now, no job. We don't know what is wrong with education minister not opening the recruitment portal. So that to the person stop Galamsey, what is he going to eat? Thank you. On also Nadia or the Eba and Abbas Amogobo offense or say our leaders might get serious about the Galamsey. The color of our water bodies is just a disgrace. I mean to all of us. On also Nadia or the Eba and no. My man can't just say we here a year office space panama renting. One will say Juma wo ye no as say we nya a year space as fata na utumi de we Juma ni ye na bibia tumi etum pon ma. So be ba won chen na office na wo mu no sabi ohun na se nhyeda anye serious otumi no enye business enu ntino se wo pe office space papa na wo de adwuma no aba honom na watumi abetena se no waye adwuma na mfaso so aba yie pa de a me pa cho bra Aseda Twin Towers eno e wo circle heya Aseda Twin Towers one of the best towers Twin Towers abanso mienu atentini mienu offices no edimu yie pa left room, elevator room, air conditioning, bibia car park, strong security is the best for you. And it is a office space pa a rent na udia ye juma say we your consultancy say ubie shop say ye eye clinic say ye den pa na wa jum so be so ubie brother business center circle ha no udu ha no mo a obehu Aseda Twin Towers ben former telecom headquarters na what circle here no post telecom here post office honom na Aseda Twin Towers wo bra honom na oni omubedi nkomo na hwe shop no anase office na wohia no na bremu na be hwehwe mu na obetumi anya papa sefata woso wodie na wetumi attract better business good business na bibia tumi akoyie amaw enumwa na obenya better offices anase adwumayefo omo mu a bibia tumi ekoyie emo pa frɛ number we na oni Aseda Twin Towers adwumayefo no endi enkomo na omo check ema 0244 900 449 0244 900 449 and answer 020 511 0001 020 511 0001. Now ne pen for ND and Como F4. And yes, our friend near my price be a soon be a chin be a dabi. Into what would tell me be no brother business center a yet circle. Nabeji a year or rent a berente a office in Ibi. I was at that Twin Towers na fee yen fowl and business year pa. Oraben, my memra, I mean the issues that I've raised. I mean you raised one pertinent issue, sorry, I should say. I have far a year omo esomo bomo ho ban na so mo hwe mo monitor na adwuma no etumi ekoyie no wo se enye effective. How can we make it effective? Kwan be so ne be fa ye be ma sane mani na effective.
Thank you very much. I think sir ade mama na ehu bi say
Na enye hu
ba enye hu sa
Rasmete ehu
pa because you should say
me da so de pa na so
ehu pa but see kind of fun. So that say no so na ama and your forex why the gold bodies dollar and no bia kokra ne ma osume oh and dem etime na dollar at least there is dollar coming down. Yes sir bibia ekosoro just because of your sector you ipacho nti na make say ehu ba enyi hu if you say eno na eboa ye no so na esa say so na me chen I don't know ekuyen because ye nye ni yie ye nye ni yie no and the Emmanuel Queen, America and Utah and all those big guys have made money through small scale mining from the initial Japan. Started with small scale mining. But omu ye and say omu and forest mu. So we have come up with red zones. I think the minister made mention of that. He referred to as security zones, say forest reserves and water bodies. But Ghana is full of gold. Say approach and regulators, to me. Any small scale miners no eye baako na obia penumunyam maza enumunyam obia no on penumunyam and is a regulator na ho no ene eye nimdifo na o enforce official license no mu a emra ne nyina wom a e kire se ojo license a e wo so odi market e wo so wo hwehwe all body sie e wo so wo so mine this way. This approach in mining no and I was say miners no timinya sanim die no na your advocacy no eye more say ensuo no menkasa ensuo na mo ye no yen support o mpacho. My brother was making emphasis on say ye kasa bia no the minister all the legal approaches are more used in terms of curbing it and using the military. We have no problem with that, but what I'm saying is that it should be concurrently done with another approach. Whilst curbing that, then you are also motivating the people to do it right. So the cooperative mining scheme is something we should look at, because I don't know, years back, you could mobilize Galamsey for said na menu ken. Ubako community be nipa go nipa by 1,000. Uhwe say nipa we nyina metibi ko nyina me hwe. Nipa we nyina edidi free. Aha kakre ya. Obi wo yire obi wo ma they are illegal miners so but who so omo ye nipa moja wo omo mu a omo ye adwuma me pacho wo ye nipa you must be a bit humane humanitarian. That's the word I should use. Wo ye nipa sebi oda ansa na obi dibone na obi kokun nua no na obi ka se we min kunu no emfiri wiase no na wadwen na de na me ma ye de abo nipa na wantie na me kwa kokunu if I show them make out as and to me approach and say
okay
regulators
okay
and yet more frequent on the field now omon hwema adwuma no yenye ne the cooperative mining no so yen support cooperative mining no emma yen to me absorb the illegality, because the essence of the cooperative mining is to bring the illegality, yen mobilize yen formalize the system no. We are looking at that. Say your communities now look mo ya said the menu ken nipa be 2010 maka mo ho abom ma form cooperative ya pass asia mamo ya formalize mo na registration of license no enye decentralized enye because obi beka metimi last me educate me community back almost boss pa fe na me fa kan concrete na me minerals commission kra minimo na me ma concrete. Meanwhile he has to work ntini nyina abeda me so say e wo say me am nti say e wo close to the doorstep. Yeah, betimako. Ya gather omo. Jack nipa 10. We community we nipa we. We've done it several years ago. It worked. during Benai's time and all that. So I believe say the government is on course. We need to support the government, and it should be an integrated approach. And more sensitization should be on the ground. The chiefs should be welcomed and have a real collaboration with the traditional authorities, and then we work with them, because chief be no obeka say onim so no so de oye no onya bi wo ho na obehwe say obi mfiri baabi e mesa na sase na on to na sase na on fa ne sika nko. I said the menu kai onya bi a na sika o de man true royalties no and man ho ye a also masa all right.
Mate, Raben, your final approach to all these meta. I think one of the things that I think maybe the state should look into what has to do with the state perspective, and then the technical committee you were expecting and come better beyond these ones, and the looking at the people that we need to deal with the approach. What else do you think we should be seeing the government or the state do? I mean, solving the problem. Nafi, you fancy.
Must be very intentional about creating jobs.
Okay.
Right. No matter what, we because the income variation and as it's come within a doors until it may not force them into other jobs. I think that looking at the risk nature and the hazardous circumstances, if you give them alternatives, they will pick it than maybe engaging themselves there. We need to create that jobs. So mine, we are not intentional about creating jobs. Sure. And I also think that. For example, albino policies like almost 24-hour economy or something like industrialization policy. We need to spread industrialization. We need to spread job creation. It shouldn't be centralized in only Accra. We need to spread it across the country, even some part of, because we share mining communities, and most of them are even migrants from the north. Most of them we are migrants, because we share unemployment rate in northeast. Sometimes youth unemployment almost 80%. Savannah region higher, so they'll have to come down and come in. So how do we even create a buffer? How do we create jobs for them within these regions? A bit more. Now the other part, they say, I think that agric a bit more creative. These days, the reason why most of the youth don't want to go into agric is because income is you get it. So how do we even service the lands? Right? We
have come up with a program, like you are saying, an equipment pool for farming. So communities, because maybe your mind is saying, so there are subsistence farmers on the same land that government I market for mining. The same land eso until obi so ye banch wa obi dua potatoes wa. So I sit down and look at this. Okay, I have a mining right. Se me kopamo nipa no free ho, se de me nua ikan. Se on free ho. E dey na o pamo no se me right until me quite too good no. Onipa na o pamo wa compensate no, all right. But so we na mka se nipa bia so we until na make President Mahama o ye nipa in the sense me hwe ne dimi na o ye nipa o dwene nipa ho. O dwene nti se farmers no opamo wo mo a ahe no mboko nti ya adwene se ye creative farmers equipment pool within every community bia ye be ye mining community one there is equipment pool for fire they support to farmers no ye pay different land ama wo mo omo ye adwuma na products e ba no so ye what do you call it food security you provide storage a yama omo. Just say no so an alternative to the mining. So be the ninja mining hono. Who say farming na me craft na name potatoes it's legal. Ajigan potatoes say they'll tell you about it is serious.
Yes.
But also our potatoes gugu. All the number potatoes gugu. For me to look at all this.
So you see it comes to the problem say the integration could be vertical, it could be horizontal. Say even in terms of the agri sector no krano, you integrate even to find market for the people. Until I make us say your problem no so but anyway, but lastly the American may bow them. I also think that we could use the creatives. And one of the reasons are there be a me body and me strong cone or Sergeant of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. You see, Sergeant of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in terms of changing the mindset of people who use creatives.
Yes.
Right, your crew, I see your BB to say, the national security, and I said, your BB to say national film authority, and I said,
national film authority.
So, if it's a comprehensive model, our person solve a problem now. You can even use national security budget, say your account. You can even fund the national film authority to begin to give short films. You can even fund musicians to begin to sing. May I stop putting plastics by the roadside because of once no one discipline I be now ye yes
at that time no me share 1 2 3 as some adwin ntimi fa rubber and two from crab you me no so babia say rubber such water na me share dia shem bottom me do babia na dia tum. So how can I even use the creative fund some movies, fund scripts, right? Then use these scripts, show them on national media platform, even go to those tenosis
yes.
Go to villages, show them, right? Show them, and then let them consistently. Then say yeah, failure. The next generation, the mindset will change.
Okay.
But you no, you but
interesting.
Anyway, we shall overcome.
Wrap your family and for yanko.
Because one point, me and Razy was here showing critical. Me free mining area.
Okay.
Make us say a lot of messages from where I come from. If we man some Memphis,
okay,
in the western region,
okay,
also Bonsa tire factory, glass factory, is in the region. And I was buying a share clearly.
Okay.
Now I share the alternative source of livelihood,
Okay.
no,
Right.
because come now for one time if any here here baby a gold mine cost you pa. Me so the can say the economy of mining is very, very big. Omo a train duane, omo a mining. It is a very huge thing. I was here share. Na ya mo who say they should leave out the illegality and do legal ones and come together. Na bibi akosobo.
All right.
I mean fan check as my boss, the Minister of Government Communication, the Honorable Felix Kwachofusu.
Okay, all right. But I say, painful I nemo edi enkomo yadamasi bebre ora Ben Insia Executive Director Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. And I ono etna say and I feel so ora appear Buedi ono so ye Director of Communications a Federation for African Youth. On also etna say and I feel so Union Bema Henry Ben Smith or your chairman Coastal Zone Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners and also you don't know Eddie and Komono. You don't pay for any say or mobile any Eddie and Komo extensively to look at solutions that has to do with the illegal mining and cost one. Fantastic solutions that have been tabled down here. If GD say Emrepemuono, you better than in na fi oman penyin swate na fi ehu de ekọ ene de ebenyina. Obi say it is very true that majority of chiefs are accomplices because in my hometown, Esuaso in Takwa in Soyem Municipal, the illegal miners are mining the river Bonsa open to everybody in the town. No one talks about it. Very devastating. You can send your reporters there to see the things yourself. Okay. And also, say until blah 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 blah. Okay, I'll say until the two main political parties come together, no amount of measures can stop Galamsey. If Kokugwa went to the side to tell them if they come to power, they would blah blah blah. Okay, campaign MPP 2027. Okay, and all that. And also won't come out. 37 minutes downside 9 a.m. Memano Atnase Kayabko group of companies Atnase pa pekas papa na face no akwantio ene emu eyensra hwene adusuane adwuma unya galamse ne namom kokoye adwuma jai sa galamse na na say wo sense ase no na koye adwuma woni kayekufo endi enkomo wo de wotu kakra no nya kakra na afo se de aka no ntumi fa nya hwempacho onfambre kayekufo na yemfa ne nko donc ye djuma papa edjuma esene fata donc ye bi non fa kakra no mra fie eno ne positive na woje na wo se no na woje na wo fa nya he de ode ya no wanumu na wodi ne cars na wo sa no
ska he na obisiden
o be wo na wo ba na ba be didi en yesa entu kwan fa ese okọ kayepko na oni omukodim komo na fifi kroma na kona kwa yedwuma
watu kakra ye
watu kakra ye
ye wo de fiska ne bra ye mfa nkwa mo no
na kotwaso
ko pe dwuma papa o ba asase no aye kama obetima be start so ye farm
some say adwuma nti na wo ye nti kwai
ana de ko da kwase obi kromu obra na fa be so wo de bra na mfa on tu kwan na konsrahwe konsrahwe no ko hu no obi krom broni krom sade yentu galamse wo ho
wa ye ne kama na
kama aduma wo ho a wo ba wo so de ade beba
no beba de
no ni ase ono eno ti yen chere hu ma me ye number ne ntudwa yo sabre Kayabko Ventures ya trans so de ya ne de nsempa ene ne ye de ade a obeboa me ne wo ene ye de ba ama watie bi ye di kan ye number ene so fa ne yie because ye kasa na wa hu ba bia ye wo ana wa nte ye nka na se ya kasa go mframa ni mu ama watie ye tra entutro ye number no 0556 73 54 22 Mrs. Subiem 0556 73 54 22 and a second one also is 0556 70 28 34 0556 70 28 34 your number you did no Kayabko Ventures visa before payment you didn't amount for a friend no
the first a visa before payment. I say yeah. Edi papa visa before payment. I don't know whether we sir.
The auntie amaya yanisa and say Ghana hano. And I say Sadia Yehun say ye nuanu binim and I nipa boni for binimu ama sabio ye nuanu and I told me to go on some. The church say kwantuo ho nsam de nka nim say ye ko babia ye bebo am to akwan ye won krata asem nyina wie emma on ya kira wo se bia da sein eniema fa na so be ko interview da sein na wo na pekepa unimu date ya ma appointment bibia correct ma wa hu se o ko na wo betu kwan akwa bi be se minya nkran meko na so bag ben so wa na unya bro kira be koi na unya bi so age sika adwani na sein enu nti yam pese e be je obi sika adwani nti yes sir bra befa forms 2000 Ghana cedi eno kire say ye no mienu e wo nsawso odie anase ye no mienu wo contract say ye do betu kwan enti befa forms a ye begina sa 2000 Ghana na utu aye ne so age visa amount aye bibia ma ye hwia ye no atena ase visa ne ba ye no atena ase na a kire say kura wo koso anase mo no ne kuro we a wo koso no e ka wo ho ye sei eno obi bisa ase na me wi ansa no beka ka na kire me yes dabi obo office ho no a ya yang bibia o ye no betena ase sinkonwa e bia me pese me ko se bia e pese me ko China me pese me ko ha ba bia e ho ye jiru se visa ba be jiru sen sa na ye no etimi sra wo wo ho na utie ye sesi ye ya banan na bra enkran anya market e ho na your office okay see ewo na Kumasi so ukwa Ohwim police station udu Ohwim police station obe won say ye garage ka see wo ho aye ton cars
okay
ewo ho ehwa na ye office ni wo ba bi ton cars no ehwa na office ni wo etu do duru ho a ha hu ponsa mi se bisa na se
odo hu cars na
obe du police station obe won say cars ni gu ho ewo Ohwim police station na ni mo wa obe ko no your office yenya na ye ton cars ni wo ho no
oh okay
pe car ni bi so ato awu ba fa skabra fa skabra ne be toka papa na otoka wie susu atukwan na ko hunu se de kwantu otie
no correct
sa your number ni 05556 73 54 22 0556 73 54 22 and 0556 70 28 34
nice one. Oh, we can home.
Yeah. We be say Ohwim police station. We say na wana wakotron wi e police station. Na say nya possible.
Who say?
Nti no, we say ben police station there.
Yes, the
money away. Krojen. We dey friend number no 0556 73 54 22 and 0556 70 28 34. We was say Kayabko no ejuma nkwa na moya na dabi enye ejuma nko a wo be so ko school wo be so ko sro busia wo be so ko wo de botai ne se wo ko abrochile nko ada for risha Kayabko Ventures ya se bra office wonom fa 2000 Ghana cedis 2000 Ghana cedis 1000 mienu na do passport aba wo be ka se okay me de mini passport o ana me passport ewu onua for risha office wonom Ohwim police station wonom anya yewo Deeper Life Junction odo passport ne ba wo do 2000 aba no abɛkyerɛ wo bɛ so tu kwan wo bɛ so okoye adwuma pɛsɛ me kɔ Serbia pɛsɛ me kɔ sɛsɛ yɛnya Turkey yɛnya Netherlands adwuma yɛnya Serbia yɛnya Brazil sɛsɛ adwuma no abu so te banko deɛ yɛsɛfo ani kyerɛ hɔ no ɛna ɛnyɛ sɛ bi a wowɔ nsa no dwuma nko na ɔsɔ ɔba ha no mu ɔsɛ akwantuo deɛ akwantuo deɛ yɛkɔ no minim ana minim wonya fa wo sika nko na aba no mu na woyɛ nko ande a cleaning ɛyɛ adwuma una mu cleaning deɛ wokɔ no ɛyɛ adwuma nkasa pa fo ni kyerɛ hɔ no ɛyɛ sɛ sɛ wakɔtu galamsey ɔsɛ aso de kɔ for 2000 bra na fa wo passport bra wo ni passport abra office hɔ no yɛ bɛ boa wo na yɛ passport ama wo wo de aso nkɔ for adwuma wo de o me de mabre me pese me call visit me pese me call se busua bi pese me go school hɔ enslasha for the check Kayeko Ventures yeah we so go school a country we so go school say school no so no school no ebu school no okwa getting visa near very simple kakra it's no for ni chira honom ye fa nko school bi a be so ko bi e se fa 2000 bra o do passport aba o be chire service kwa ye nyamba o ana so obi so be ka say okay me pese me hu akwantuo mu nhyehyeye bia e bia consultation ana pese menye pese me hu de kwan me fa so betu kwan ene nhyehyeye bia na nyoma bia me hia de atu kwan no you say bra ye be boa ye be chiro akwantuo mu nhyehyeye bia ne de da ho no ene papers bia o hia bia o pese tu kwan you say for your number no 0556 73 54 22 ana 0556 70 28 34
nice all right etike ye ko ohun but me dem any kan say Kayep ko ventures adwuma panti no say obi anfa boni bi amai
yes
omo do musika ba nyina adwuma no koyie mo bia processing e fine
me no ka say na nka mbe kan say nka na otwe se na we na mmiri nti se na otwe se na nka obema kwan kura na nka be bie telephone atumu
no bia ankyere enkyere se ka woni Kayep Ventures di nkita ho no o ma du sika ana from amfa de ye hu sa yampa na sa nyampa what are sempa
yan ji obi asika wo bra even amadi kan be fa passport
forms no
ya sha say process ya ma nyina requirement ya hia nyina ya bia ban ya sha say ebi mu krampo last week me catch ebi mu de ebi October and ya omoko nyame aya omadom omo niema aya ready
ana ebi ngbobu okwa obi wa be fa from bi no ma ya for be say ene wa be fa from ne fa 1000 kra bra ye mfro be ma ne fa obi quest me first enti no mu sai mi skai ya de hwe be kosu ni yes obi atobo Kayep Ventures no wa ban
Matthias here yada say Kayep Ventures da masi pa
yes number no so ba ko number no 0556
okay
73 54 22 and 0556 70 2834 wa hwe TV no o hwe so a ewo so na wa fa number no me no ka say call office ewo anya so tuom sisia enti wa utie me nka no bra baba beto me na ya ntwetwe enkomo
yes we da Kayep Ventures for and a happy 80th birthday to Madame Patricia Esumedu Sechi. Wave here, your sons and the entire family. Happy birthday to you, mommy. Madame Patricia Esumedu Sechi, from your son and the entire family. Another happy birthday to you, C Black Jiwa Yasantwa of 4 stars. Happy birthday to you, C Black Jiwa. Another happy birthday to you, Mariam Yusuf. And co-practitioner of KNUST. This one is from your uncle, Lance Corporal Anibi Issa. Happy birthday to you, Mariam. And a happy glorious birthday to you, Maria of in Elubu. With you, Mother Fati and the family. Happy birthday to you, Maria. And a happy birthday to you, Ohinemba Nyakun Prince of Esiweni FM Eastern Region. From top fans and listeners, happy birthday to you. Another happy birthday to you, Enoch Edu Jenfi, Senior Most, producer of a theater, saying happy birthday to you, Senior Most. Happy birthday to you once again, brother. Another happy birthday to you, Miriam Salia of Agogo Jubilee Roman School. Happy birthday to you. And then a happy birthday to you, Fred Bonny. Happy birthday to you. Aha. And the Jumedi ABC meeting the Kojo Preko Dankwah. Aha. And the Jumedi no ABC Amawo.
Waduma kuma body ebo nipa bata nipa ho obi ada na nyonko ensu na yiresio obi a woni duma odidi bo a oman wokwo na ni kosi na fo wa yuku ni chechere ne ma obi ana ni koso ni ja obretu ni kukodu fo eja wo mo enku ni maba agurana na yiri kwa ba akasa no makasa french obi na no awobo ajo asana na ho febia woni bono so awira cheche wokwo ni bani na sene ni ba ejo no bi no anta bi eja wo mu anami di asem asachiri na no mpa no asem eja wo mu asoma di aba wodoma nkoma oba ade ehye yense yeni nsa woso eni je ni agrawom afe wonu e bi wi ase asoni mu eba sa wo yira kwan so akire ne pampa no bi asem ye obi asmo oni pada sani awon manwe mu wo wi ase ha asam to nyonko na to be bi ankemfa ho Nenso metene baby anka me pema yeden nenso wadoma nkoma bo ade ebo nipa bata nipa ho obi ada na nyonko ensu na yiresio obi a woni duma odidi bo a oman wokwo na ni kosi na fo wa yuku ni chechere ne ma